I wanted to share my experience and the results that I got from working with Robert. I asked him if he could work on my adrenals because I had pretty bad adrenal fatigue. Every day, midday, I had to go lie down on my bed almost every day because I just felt super exhausted. It was frustrating because I couldn't get anything done. And I was like that for many months, probably since actually last year, because I had a lot of trauma last year. So he worked on that. And real quick, I'll just say a little backstory. So a lot of that trauma came from 10 years hanging around someone that was very actually toxic, that I thought was my friend. And a lot of weird stuff was happening when I was hanging around with him. It's like I had incredibly bad luck. The things that would happen and the way they would happen, it was like the chances of that was just like winning the lottery. So yeah, there was anomalous trauma. There was just weird stuff happening, like supernatural things happening. So I knew there was some kind of evil entity or something involved. And when that toxic person was out of my life, I was just it kind of died down. So I figured okay, maybe that whatever that was, hopefully just left with him. And I was just primarily focused on healing whatever little health things that manifested right from all the trauma. So the tiredness. And so I totally forgot about all that stuff, and I didn't even mention that to Robert. But during the session, he asked me, do you believe in spells? And I said, yeah. And he said, black magic? And I said, yeah. And he said, somebody put a black magic spell on you. So he picked up on that and he worked on it and he got rid of that. And he asked me at one point too, how are you feeling in your body? And I said, oh, I feel a little nervous. I could feel nervousness in my stomach. My hand was shaking a little. And so he said, okay. And he worked on me a little bit. And he asked me after, how are you feeling? And I tuned into my body and I realized I did not have the nervousness anymore. It was just totally gone. And my hand wasn't shaking anymore. So he just removed all that anxiety and nervousness within a few moments. And so yeah, the black magic spell thing, he told me that there were 5 guys and I had a black magic spell put on me, and he said that it was energy vampires, right? And I told him, I said I felt like my life force was being sucked out of me. And he said it was. And so I was laying in my bed and my eyes were closed, and he was continuing with his deep breaths, and all of a sudden I could feel these waves of energy just going up and down my body. And I opened my eyes and I looked around my room, and it just seemed like everything was clearer and brighter. And I felt this aliveness inside of me. And then he goes, I don't know if you can feel this, but I'm expanding your aura. And I said, oh, I can feel that. I could definitely feel that. And I told him I feel so alive. And he said, this is how you're supposed to feel. It was I guess I was in I felt I was walking around with in this cloudiness, in this heaviness all the time. And I remember telling my mom that last year, I feel I'm in another dimension, I'm here, but I'm in another dimension. And it's I can't get this feeling off of me, and something's off. And so there was such a big contrast there, because I just all of a sudden felt so alive. And like I told him, I'm kind of scared like to go by a certain loved one because like I need to see her, but there's like weird stuff going on with her, and I think she has something attached to her. So he said, like, don't worry about it. It's not gonna attach to you. Your vibration is too high now. And he said, you're also not gonna attract narcissistic men anymore. So that made me feel good. Like I just was like, oh, that's reassuring. And I told him I'm just gonna do my end of it and just keep trying to meditate and keep my vibe high. Yeah, what else? Let me see. I wrote some stuff down. I didn't want to forget anything. Oh yeah, I did mention like I totally lost my libido too, and I think that was like due to like not only my adrenals, which were weakened, but like sexual abuse. So I noticed like after the session, like I could still feel energy like moving up and down my body. And that evening and the next few days, I noticed that like my libido was kicking in. I guess he like cleared my root chakra and like energy is like flowing. I think he cleared like all my chakras. But so that was noticeable. And also I told him in the session that I knew my third eye was blocked because I usually could have this thing called like astral vision or astral sight. I guess it's like astral projection, but I'm like lazy and I'm not actually like leaving my body and flying around somewhere. I'm just like lying in bed and I'm like fully awake, and I just lightly close my eyes and I could start to see things with my third eye, like places and like walking through buildings or like seeing like random people or whatever. And it's like super clear, right? When you're looking through your like third eye, it's like it's cool, it's clearer than when your physical eyes are open. It's like, so I couldn't access that for like a while. I kept trying and it was just totally blocked. So but I was like, let me try to see if I can see something like that night. And I told Robert like I had astral vision like I never had before, because it was like I took shrooms and I went on a trip, and everything was psychedelic. And I told him like at one point I saw my mom's plants, and it kind of made me laugh because every time I go to her house, like she has these plants by the front door, and she often forgets to water them, and so I'm like always picking the dead leaves off and I water them and I talk to them. And I saw them, and like each leaf was just radiating like just beautiful like shades of green. Like they were so alive, you know. That was pretty cool. And I had that astral vision again the next night. I tried, and it was just like all these bright colors. And and then the cool thing too about that was the whole time that I had like I could see stuff, my physical eyes were wide open. So that was interesting and what I was seeing was so vibrant and bright. It was like I almost couldn't see the background of my room, like because it was just the contrast, right? So, but that I could still faintly see. I could see my ceiling fan. I could see my curtains, and it wasn't hard